There's only one king, really, isn't there? Absolutely. We know him, of course, around the world as literally the mighty King Elvis, a man that really shaped the form of rock and roll. And it's interesting, as I've said, I've been lucky enough to interview so many of the greats around at that particular time, the likes of Marty Wilde, Tommy Steele, Cliff Richard, the Shadows, and they all cite as Elvis as the moment. In fact, Sir Cliff said that, he remembers distinctly hearing Elvis's record for the very first time on a car radio. I thought, showing off. But, they were the big thing, were they not, of the 1950s? And he said he literally stopped in his tracks. This was music that spoke to him and him only. He thought this is a brand new generation. Yes, we'd had Bill Haley in his comments, but although it was great tracks, they were hardly rock and roll kings. But over here in the United Kingdom, I was lucky enough to meet a legend. Oh, yes, many years ago now, when he was playing a rather intimate venue inside the Cafe Royal, which was called the Green Room. And it was like a cabaret room that they'd set up. They were trying to sort of bring nightlife back to London, that type of thing. So when I mention this particular guy's name, you'll know instantly what a supreme talent he was. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning. How are you? Nice to see you. Yes, lovely. We'll have a lovely wave. Yes, we're still at the wilting flowers. I know. Well, a couple of days' time, apparently, we're assured everything will spring back to life. What, me? No, no, the flowers. Don't think I'll ever spring back to life, do you? Wow, you look sometimes in the mirror and you think, what a wreck. And then you have to try and put it together. It doesn't matter whether you're a male or female, it doesn't matter. Nobody likes looking at an aging face, do they? What do you mean you don't either? I know. Well, we'll move on, shall we? Let's talk about this superstar, which is, of course, the brilliant Anthony Newley. Now, Anthony Newley was indeed a megastar over here for Great Britain, the United Kingdom, and then, of course, around the world, all thanks to just great musicals, great songs, and a huge talent. But he told me way back in the late 1950s, he was hoping to become, as so many were, the brand new Elvis. And this was all down to a movie that they decided to basically put together, if you like, a cheaper version of all those Elvis movies like Love Me Tender and Jailhouse Rock. It was called Idle on Parade. And Idle on Parade really was based on our national service at the time. If you were a certain age, you were subscripted and then you had to go in the army, learn everything for 2 years. Lots of people think that should still come back today. Love to know what you think about that in the comments below. But what's interesting is Anthony Newley said that, this movie was billed to him as that this is going to turn you into the British Elvis, right? He provided lots of the songs, and it was basically all about a man. I won't spoil it because the movie is online, and take a look because I think you really will enjoy it. But it's all about a guy that gets sent off, into the army, but still is a major recording star, that type of thing. You can see how exactly they borrowed the plot line from Elvis being sent into the American army at that time. How many hearts were broken then, eh, ladies? Now, did it work? Well, Idle on Parade wasn't that huge success. No. Um, Sadly, for Anthony Newley, as he pointed out, had to wait a few years until great musicals like Stop the World, I Want to Get Off, and of course co-writing mega hits like Who Can I Turn To, covered by the brilliant Sammy Davis Jr., took his star quite literally right around the world. And of course, in latter periods of time, he popped up in the soap opera over here, EastEnders on the BBC. Yeah, he did a cracking role, in fact, I thought. Sadly, we lost him all the way too soon, but his talent truly lives on. And it's interesting to note, as he pointed out to me, he said, you know what it's like, Neil? He said, everybody was saying, oh, this is it. This is going to make you big, Anthony. You're going to be the next big pop star. He said, some of the tracks did become chart hits, no two ways about it. He said, but it certainly didn't take off. Certainly did invigorate his film career. And more importantly, he had to go back to the drawing board, which again was touring the variety halls and making a living. By the way, I interviewed a brilliant man who told me just what a kind soul Anthony Newley was. When he was appearing up in a theatre in West Yorkshire, in Dewsbury, no less, basically was there for a week, and he bought this very young stagehand his very first shaving kit. A nice gesture, don't you think? And he still has it to this day. What a memory these people leave behind for so many wonderful people. If you do not know Anthony Newley, and I cannot think there can't be many that don't, well then get your Goldfinger button, quite literally, on YouTube and check him out. Interesting to note, alongside Tommy, Marty, and now of course Anthony, everybody wanted to be Elvis, didn't they? Now let me know, boys, did you want to be Elvis? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.